Good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime News on TV1. For the news first team, I'm Ditmini De Silva. Let's start off with a look at the headlines.
Court order against Jathika Janabalawegaya protest. Opposition cites conspiracy over the delay in appointing the chairman of the Committee on Public Finance.
මට පණිවිඩ ආවා හර්ෂද සිල්වා මැතිතුමාගේ නම හැරෙන්න වෙන ඕන නමක් දෙන්න කියලා.
ඒ කුමන්ත්‍රණය විපක්ෂයෙන් ඇති වෙච්ච එක.
Lump skin disease in cattle spreading to central and western provinces. Fishermen reported missing after boat capsized in Vaskadua. World Oceans Day underscores the need to protect the foundation of life.
Sri Lanka police obtained a court order against Jathika Janabalawegaya leader Anurukumara Disanayaka and several others, preventing them from protesting along roads leading to the National Election Commission in Rajagiriya. The Colombo Chief Magistrates Court issued the order upon considering the submissions made by police.
26 people, including Jathika Janabalawegaya leader Anurukumara Disanayaka, Tilvin Silva, Kedi Lalkantha, Vijita Herath, Harine Amarasuriya, Nalinda Jathisa, Bimal Ratnayaka, Sunil Handunetti and Vasanta Samarasinghe are prohibited from protesting along Sri Jayawardhanapura Kotte Road, Kota Road, Navala Road, Sarna Road and the roads leading to the National Election Commission in Rajagiriya. The Jathika Janabalawegaya had planned to protest opposite the National Election Commission on Thursday evening to demand that the local government election be held.
The opposition in Parliament alleged that the President intervening to appoint the chairman of the Committee on Public Finance is a breach of the standing orders in Parliament. Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa said that proposals were directed to him to appoint another person to the post of COPF chairman instead of Dr. Harsha De Silva.
I am thankful to opposition leader Sajith Premadasa and the entire opposition maintaining the position that the post of chairman should be given to the opposition as per the standing orders. I am also thankful to the President for his intervention and solving the issue. The standing orders do not dictate that the Executive President summon the members of the Committee of Public Finance and say that it is his recommendation that Harsha De Silva be made the chairman. I am not opposing it. But what was dangerous was that during the interim period, pro-term chairmen were appointed illegally and bills were given the green light to be introduced without any careful study. This has taken place without a single discussion. You will have to issue a new standing order for the President to visit Parliament and appoint the chairman of the Committee on Public Finance. I received messages to appoint any other person except for Harsha De Silva. Why do you think we are saying to appoint Dr. Harsha? We maintained one position. The President had to come here and appoint Harsha De Silva. If Parliament cannot solve an issue, your indirect message was that go tell the President. It was said there was a conspiracy, and that conspiracy was created by the opposition. They proposed for Mayantha Disanayaka to be made the chairman, and he took up the post. Nothing illegal was done. We had concerns whether there was an attempt to incite the ruling faction MPs and create a situation where he could not work in his post. As a committee, we have extended our fullest support. He speaks as if the post of chairman of the Committee on Public Finance lies in his pocket. He cannot say that they appointed Mayantha. It is the opposition that will decide on who will be appointed.
Multiple factions have commented on the proposal to introduce legislation to establish a broadcasting regulatory commission in Sri Lanka.
There needs to be some form of regulation on the media. The media freedom should not be abused. That is my view. If media freedom is abused, that is harmful to society. Some media institutions engage in rightful acts like pointing out the mistakes and the destruction caused to the country's culture, economy and archaeology. However, we witnessed how some social media personnel acted during the Aragale. That is harmful to the country. The discussion today is the Broadcasting Regulatory Commission, which is a new act. They are trying to bring this to Parliament and secure its passage. If this is passed, and if they decide that the media is anti-government, the license can be terminated. Such an act is to be introduced to take the right the people have to access accurate information. Hospitals do not have stocks of medicines. Taxes were imposed and professionals left. On the other hand, they are trying to take away the right of the people to have access to information by intimidating the media. We have no election, food, no medicine, and no opportunity to know the truth. Such rulers need to be chased away as they are not people-friendly rulers.
ඇත්ත සත්‍ය දැනගන්නව තියෙන අවස්ථාව ජනතාවට නැති කරනවා. ඡන්දෙත් නැහැ, කන්නත් නැහැ, බෙහෙතුත් නැහැ. ඇත්ත දැනගන්න තියෙන අවස්ථාවක් නැහැ. මේ ජාතිය පාලකෝ වහ පන්නන්න ඕනේ නැද්ද මං අහන්නේ. එහෙනම් මේ ඇවිල්ලා ජනතාවාදී පාලකෝ නෙවෙයි.
Farmers of Polonnaru Alhara movement say they cannot purchase fertilizer for land crops with the voucher provided by the government.
The Agriculture Minister said fertilizer will be provided by April for the Yala season. He held discussions at seasonal meetings and informed farmers to plant 70% of the paddy and 30% of other crops. Since then, all farmers have planted other crops. The Agriculture Minister sent a circular to all agrarian development officers regarding providing fertilizer. According to that, not even 10 of us can receive fertilizer. Fertilizer is not provided for other crops with the voucher.
ගොඩබෝග කරලා තියෙනවා. අපිට දැනුවත් වෙලා තියෙනවා කුසිකර්ම ඇමතුමා චක්‍රලේඛයක් එවලා තියෙනවා ගොවි ජන සේවා කාර්යාලය වලට. මේ ආකාරයෙන් මේ පොහොර ලබා දෙන්න කියලා. ඇත්තෙන්ම කිරිකංජාවේ ගත්තොත් අපිට 10 දිනකටත් පොහොරේ චක්‍රලේඛයට අනුව පොහොර ලබා දෙන්න බැරි අපහසුතාවයකට පත් වෙලා තියෙනවා. ගොඩබෝග වෞචරයනු දෙන්නේ නැහැ.
The All Ceylon Agrarian Federation also convened a press conference today and expressed views on issues faced by farmers.
The production cost alone is over 85 rupees and we can't sell a kilogram of paddy to cover that cost. There is uncertainty regarding the next harvesting season and farmers don't have fertilizer for it. Ranil Wickramasinghe's government and his Broadcast and Regulatory Authority bill will not be able to stop farmers from taking to the streets over these issues.
In more local news, every year people worldwide celebrate World Ocean Day on the 8th of June. This day aims to raise awareness about the importance of the ocean and the need to protect them. The theme for World Oceans Day 2023 is Planet Ocean, Tides Are Changing.
The ocean covers more than 70% of Earth's surface and play a key role in regulating the planet's climate and support its biodiversity. But unfortunately, only a small percentage, about 0.3%, is even usable by humans, and much of the 0.3% that is usable is unattainable. About 97% of Earth's water is in the ocean, and 95% of species on planet Earth live in the deep blue seas. Healthy oceans and seas are essential to human existence and life on Earth. Scientists estimate that roughly half of the oxygen production on Earth comes from the ocean, and that is estimated to be between 50% to 80%, while the ocean absorbs about 30% of carbon dioxide that is released in the atmosphere. The ocean is one of Earth's most valuable natural resources. It provides food in the form of fish, it provides a treasured source of recreation for humans, and it is mined for minerals and drilled for crude oil. But unfortunately, our ocean is facing several serious threats. Plastic pollution is a growing issue, with millions of tons of plastic waste ending up in the ocean each year. Each year, about 8.8 million tons of plastic ends up in the world's oceans, a quantity much higher than previously estimated. Our Sea of Sri Lanka is 8 times bigger than the land mass of 65,610 square kilometers, and we dump 0.24 to 0.64 million tons of plastic waste annually into our beautiful sea. Unlike previous years, this year the country must pay close attention to the Sea of Sri Lanka, especially on World Ocean Day, as millions of tons of plastic waste polluted the Sea of Sri Lanka following the Express Pearl maritime disaster. According to the UN Environmental Advisory Mission, the Express Pearl carried 1,680 tons of plastic pellets when it sank in the Sea of Sri Lanka some 2 years ago.
The Negative Sri Lanka program on TV1 was also dedicated to World Oceans Day.
එක්ස්ප්‍රස් පර්ල් සිද්ධිය වෙද්දී අපි නොසිතූ ප්‍රමාණයේ ලෝකයේ වුණ විශාල
With the Express Pearl disaster, the world's biggest maritime disaster took place in Sri Lanka. Due to the lack of preparedness and failure to reach correct decisions when required, a massive damage was caused to the environment and the communities in those areas. Sri Lanka is still not ready to face such a situation in the proper manner.
ඒකට හරියාකාර මුහුණ දෙන්න තාම අපි සූදානම් නැහැ.
අපි ජනාධිපතිතුමාටත් මේක දැන්නුම් දුන්නා.
We informed the president and he told us to take the initiative and introduce a new act promptly by looking at a model from another country without amending laws. We are taking measures in this regard and will be able to introduce a new law within 3 months. That is where we should start. When such an accident happens, we need to have procedure for several institutions to work together.
ආයතන කීපයක් එක්ක වැඩ කිරීමේ ක්‍රියාපටිපාටියක් අපි හදන්න ඕනේ.
A media briefing was held in Colombo to raise awareness regarding the damage caused to the environment and humans due to the use of microplastics. The media briefing was organized by the Young Zoologists Association of Sri Lanka.
Microplastic කිසිම සාධනීය කාර්යභාරයක් ඉෂ්ට කරන්නේ නැති.
Microplastic is a single-use plastic that does not serve any justifiable benefit. The customer doesn't even know that they are being included in products. This invades every ecological system and even harms our body through digestion. Taking this into consideration, we forwarded a proposal in March 2019 to ban microplastic in Sri Lanka. We said it might take at least 6 months for this to be enacted, and we proposed to issue the order in June for it to be enacted since 1st January 2020. Unfortunately, today is the 8th of June 2023, and coincidentally the Oceans Day theme for today is also about plastic pollution. However, it's 2023 already and there is no ban on microplastic or even a dialogue regarding its banning. We can clearly see that the authorities are subject to the agendas of companies and stalling this process.
වලට නතු වෙලා මේ වගේ දේවල් පිළිබඳව නොතකා හරින තත්ත්වයක් අපිට පැහැදිලිව පේන්න.
In other local news, Sri Lanka's Department of Animal Production and Health said that the lumpy skin disease in cattle is now spreading to the country's western and central provinces. Director of the Department of Animal Production and Health, Dr. Hemali Kuthalawala, speaking to News First, said the lumpy skin disease is continuing to spread in the northwestern province. However, she said it is not an epidemic. This is not a disease that is transmitted from animals to humans. In addition, it is not a deadly disease. The infected animals will recover in a few days. The disease may lead to a drop in production. Therefore, if the disease is observed, immediately contact the local veterinarian. The GC Ordinary Level Examination concludes today. The spokesperson of the Department of Examinations, Lasika Samarakon, requested students to refrain from behaving in an unruly manner after the examination.
The GCEO level exam concluded at 11:30 a.m. today. We were able to conduct the exam successfully. With experience, we've noticed that on the last day of exams, students sitting for the exam start fights with other candidates over minor incidents. I request children to refrain from doing so. I request parents to pay special attention to children after the exam to prevent disputes.
Schools will reopen for the next term on the 12th of June. Minister of Education Dr. Susil Premajayantha said that textbooks and uniform materials have been provided to schools to be distributed among school children. The Education Minister said schools that have not received textbooks and uniform material that were ordered can inform the ministry after the 12th of June.
Textbooks and uniforms required for all grades have been distributed, and when schools reopen on the 12th of June, all schools would have received them. Only a small amount had to be distributed for the last week. We have issued a notice with a hotline for schools to inform if they have not received textbooks and uniforms as ordered by the 12th of June, and the ministry will take the necessary measures.
Speaking during a media briefing, the Munaragala District Joint Teachers Service Union said students are severely burdened as they have not received textbooks.
The correct amount of textbooks have not been provided to schools in the Munaragala district. A circular was issued to place an order for 60% of the books required. There's a shortage of 40% for textbooks. As a solution, they propose that schools take textbooks from students and redistribute them among children. However, some of those books are not in good condition. Authorities have also failed to provide 60% of books at the proper time. They've only given half, so the others will have to study without textbooks, leading to inequality.
කරන්න වෙලා තින්නේ. අසමානතාවය ඇති වෙලා තියෙනවා මේ පන්ති කාමරය තුලත්.
Speaking to China's CGT and Sri Lankan Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena said that Sri Lanka needs the support of China to upgrade its industries. Sri Lankan Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena said that despite the country's great geographical advantages, Sri Lanka would remain confined to traditional industries such as tea, rubber and coconut without the help and support of China.
We are the last important island south of India in the Indian Ocean. We are on the maritime lanes between Africa, Arabia and the East Asia. So many thousands of different shipping lines, shipping lanes, traders and business enterprises shuttle across all by and anchoring in Sri Lanka. So Sri Lanka has been historically an important place for all these countries. We must take off to a new stage of development. Sri Lanka has had the help and support of China to create new areas of development. Otherwise, we are on traditional areas like tea, rubber, coconut. The COVID caused a serious setback in Sri Lanka's economy, followed by the economic crisis, slowdown in the world. Slowdown means our exports were also dropping, and tourism also drastically dropped. The remittances of Sri Lankans abroad, working abroad, slowed down. This caused a major foreign exchange crisis for Sri Lanka. So now we have to plan well a progressive path of fast development on a sustainable basis to come out of the crisis plus reach a better economic growth.
The first India-Sri Lanka Defence Seminar and Exhibition has been organized by the High Commission of India to identify new areas of cooperation and collaboration between the two countries in the defence sector. The event will be attended by Indian defence industry, Sri Lankan entrepreneurs, Sri Lanka Armed Forces, Police and Special Task Force. The grand event includes a seminar highlighting the capability and capacities of the two countries in defence equipment manufacturing and would also exhibit a wide variety of defence products. This exhibition is organised with the aim to deepen ties with Sri Lanka through inclusive and collaborative engagement, aims to identify newer areas of cooperation for economic revival, while ensuring capacity building of Sri Lanka Armed Forces. The High Commission also said that the Sri Lanka Armed Forces have been successfully operating a wide range of Indian defence equipment such as Indra radar, advanced offshore patrol vessels, L-70 guns, Dornier aircraft and army training simulators. Similarly, Indian Armed Forces use fast interceptor crafts and refit a floating dock at Colombo. More recently, the Government of India committed to the supply of floating dock, Maritime Rescue Coordination Centre and Dornier aircraft, which would ensure capacity building of Sri Lanka Armed Forces. The Department of Meteorology forecasts showers or thunder showers in the western and Sabaragamu provinces and in the Galle and Matara districts. Fairly heavy showers above 75 millimeters are likely at some places in the Sabaragamu province and in the Galle, Matara and Kalutara districts. The Sri Lanka Navy has deployed another relief team in Valalavita to provide relief to people affected by floods caused due to heavy rains. Director of Navy Media, Captain Gan Vikramasuriya said the Navy deployed relief teams to Bulat Sinhala, Baduraliya, Latpandura and Kalawana from the 4th of June. The National Dengue Control Unit says 2,479 dengue cases have been reported during the past 7 days of this month. The highest number of patients were reported from the Gampaha district.
41,883 dengue cases have been reported so far this year. 22.1% of them were reported from the Gampaha district, while 21% were reported from the Colombo district. 67 MOH divisions across the country have been named as dengue risk areas. 25 dengue-related deaths were reported this year.
A fisherman was reported missing after a boat capsized in the seas off Vaskadua.
A 35-year-old fisherman, a father of 3 from Rosavatta in Valigoda, was reported missing after a fishing boat capsized in the seas off Vaskadua. He had set out to sea at 6:30 a.m. on Thursday with 2 other fishermen from the Kuda Vaskadua area. Sri Lanka police said that the boat capsized following a mechanical issue, and the other 2 fishermen were rescued and admitted to the Kalutara Nagoda hospital. A search operation is underway to locate the missing fishermen.
The Institute of Chartered Accountants of Sri Lanka and its School of Taxation launched the new curriculum for its popular tax advisor program in Colombo on Wednesday. The new curriculum of the Chartered Tax Advisory of CA Sri Lanka School of Taxation was launched on Wednesday. New modules and key changes were introduced in the new curriculum. The Commissioner General of the Department of Inland Revenue, DRS Hapuarachi, attended the event as the chief guest.
As a national accounting body, we have realized that there's a need to have sufficient number of tax practitioners in Sri Lanka, especially in the today's context. As most of you are aware, recently government made an announcement that all individuals over 18 years of age and many other professionals need to open up tax files. And in addition to that, there were many discussions about expanding tax net. In that context, there's a need to have large number of tax practitioners to support all these taxpayers and to support the government and the Department of Inland Revenue to collect much needed tax revenue for our country.
A felicitation volume titled Contemporary Sri Lankan Society and Politics was launched at the University of Colombo yesterday.
The international journal is a tribute to the illustrious career of Professor S.T. Hettige. Professor Hettige and many other dignitaries from the University of Colombo attended the event.
Now, of course, when we make observations, we naturally want to form our own ideas. And then we also want to come up with various propositions. Now the question is, the propositions that we come out with should not be parochial. The propositions should cut across societies. They should be valid across societies. And then only you can say that this is a theoretical proposition.
I have so many fond memories of working with Professor Hettige. This is the kind of scholarly contribution to the work of Professor Hettige, and many of his students actually contributed. Many of his colleagues from Sri Lanka and also overseas actually contributed to this particular volume. We as an academic, what we can do basically, we can make a tribute to senior colleagues by publishing, by disseminating knowledge about this particular personality.
Moving on to news overseas, former US Vice President Mike Pence, in remarks announcing his challenge to Donald Trump, said the then president had asked him to choose between him and the US Constitution following their 2020 election loss, and that anyone who put themselves above the founding document should not be president.
Former Vice President Mike Pence announced Wednesday he's running for the 2024 Republican presidential nomination as he delivered his toughest takedown to date of primary rival and former boss Donald Trump, who he said should never be president again for his actions in the aftermath of the 2020 election. At his formal campaign kickoff in Ankeny of Iowa, Pence recalled how Trump had asked him to block the certification of Joe Biden's 2020 election win as Pence presided over Congress on the 6th of January 2021.
We've had enough of the Democrats and the radical left repeatedly trampling on our Constitution, threatening to pack the court, to dismantle the God-given rights that are enshrined there. We must stand on the Constitution to protect the God-given right to life. We must stand on the Constitution to protect the right to keep and bear arms. We must stand for the Constitution to protect the right to live, to work, to worship according to the dictates of our faith and conscience. The American people must know that leaders in the Republican Party will keep our oath to support and defend the Constitution, even when it's not in our political interest to do so.
That's a wrap of the lunchtime news. Join us again at 9 p.m. for primetime news on TV1.